Where will I be in 2025/2026? Now, when I started this YouTube at the beginning of the year, I was talking a lot about the events that I was doing and where I would be. And honestly, when you do events, they're kind of blocked up into seasons. So you have like the events that you're doing in the first 6 months of the year, and then the events that you're doing in the last 6 months of the year. For larger events, this schedule's a little bit different. So say for WAF, which isn't a super big event but is a larger event, you apply towards the beginning of the year, find out mid-year, and then the event itself is at the end of the year. So some events are like that, some are 1 or 2 months ahead, so you know within the first few months of the year that, say, by July that you're going to be doing that event. As such, I have events that are now coming up at the end of the year. Some I applied to kind of around now, like mid-year. Some I apply to at the beginning of the year. So it's a mixed ball, but some obviously I know that I'm going to be going to at the end of the year. Some events people, including myself, applied to a few months ago, found out a week ago now, I think, and those events are next year. So it's kind of a mixed ball for when you will find out when you're doing events, but they tend to be in kind of 6-month seasons, with larger events giving you about 6 to 8 months of prep time. So where will I be in 2025, the end of the year, and 2026? When I started YouTube, I knew nothing about KaiCon. I applied to KaiCon, I got into their January Twilight Market in Sydney. I loved my time there, I'm not gonna lie about that. They were super helpful, they communicated really well. It being my first artist like in-person event, they helped me a lot and I found it really easy and really, really fun. Now, after I did that event, I got approved to roll over for their October event, and then about a month later, I was asked to go to their Brisbane event, which I said yes, because I have really enjoyed doing their Twilight Market in January. If you know, you know. I don't think I'm getting that money back. As it stands, I am filming this on the 23rd of August. From the last I heard was that their emails were bouncing, they hadn't even posted properly on their Instagram or anything about what was going on. So I don't think the money I paid is, I'm never getting that back. That's gone with the wind. But I had been approved to go to their event in October. I'm trying to not laugh and or cry because this whole situation is awful. I'm not going to delve into it, but when I did apply to these events, I had no idea about the scummy things they were doing. And I paid for their Brisbane event, which was cancelled a week out. Thank goodness Black Hole Events and Cosplay Market absolutely hold it, and they pulled off an amazing event. It's been my best event to date, and they saved my trip to Brisbane. Thank you so much to them and their organisers. Genuinely, you guys are amazing. I cannot thank you enough. But when that was cancelled, because I was approved for their Sydney one, I was told your Sydney event's still happening in October. It'll just be at a smaller venue. I've not heard anything. I've not received a refund for Brisbane. I've not been emailed about Brisbane since it got cancelled. I don't think the October one's going ahead. When it was first cancelled, the Brisbane one, I did say that I was going to do it because I have already paid for it. So, I would rather go and try and make some money back. But at this stage, I don't think it's going ahead. I don't know, it might, but that is possibly happening as one of the events I'm doing. I'm curious to see how this all plays out, because again, they have not communicated with anyone about anything, so we're all in the dark. Now, confirmed events that aren't up in the air are WAF. I got accepted to do their dealer stand in September, so I will be flying out to go to Western Australia again, and I will be a dealer this time, which I'm really, really excited about. It will be my first very specific event, so fingers crossed I do really well. At the moment, just behind me, I actually have my stock for WAF. As you can see, I brought 60 keychains from Wurukri. Now, they're great quality, but I didn't know that they would come entirely disassembled. I thought I'd have to attach the tails because they have a swinging tail. Turns out I have to attach all the hardware as well. So that is a problem that I'm going to solve at a later date. Now, the other event that I was also accepted to in September was the Gladstone PopCon. Now, they initially reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested. I said yes. Unfortunately, they ended up changing the date that they were doing it, and it is the week before WAF, which means that I would have to fly out to Gladstone, which from where I am would be a whole day of flying. Because I can't fly direct, I would have to go to Sydney, fly to Rockhampton, and then drive from Rockhampton to Gladstone, and then like reverse to get back, or I would have to fly from Sydney to Brisbane, Brisbane to Gladstone, and do that backwards. Either way, it's way too complicated to do a week out from a much larger event. So unfortunately, when they really reached out to me and I thought it was a great opportunity, I am going to have to turn that down because I just physically cannot make it. It also would be just way too expensive because of travel costs, and I was hoping to be able to do flying in the morning and then flying out in the evening because it's a one-day event. Unfortunately, I can't do that any longer. I would have to fly in, stay a night, and then fly out again. So unfortunately, that's not worth it. But I was reached out to again by another council for their PopCon. I forget where it is. I think it's in Tasmania. I'm waiting on a response from that, but I will probably be doing them. And speaking of Tassie, I was accepted to do Tassie. So I did have to actually just double check that. I was accepted to the Pop Culture Market in Tasmania, or the Tassie Pop Culture Market, for the Halloween event. So I will be doing that. That's a one-day event on the 1st of November. Fingers crossed. From memory, a one-day event that's held in the afternoon, which means that I am ideally going to fly in, fly out, same day. It's only about an hour flight from where I'm at the moment, so it's not too bad. It's kind of as if I was doing a one-day event in Sydney, but somehow quicker. But we'll see how that goes. So that event I will be doing as well. I have applied to a few other Tasmanian events because they have cropped up here and there for some reason, and I found out that apparently flying from Newcastle to Tasmania is really, really cheap, and it only takes like an hour. I think to fly from here to Launceston was $200 round trip, which is absolutely amazing. And if it's like a one-day event, I can probably get away with flying in the morning and flying out in the evening, so I don't have to pay hotels and stuff. So that's absolutely amazing. Other than that, I have applied to quite a few other events here and there. Unfortunately, I didn't get into Tales of Terror or Furdu. Not saying anything, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't get into those events. I don't think that communication is something that I'm looking for, because as a newer artist, I kind of want people to be very communicative, and from what I've heard, that's not how their team runs things, which is totally fine. I just don't think I would personally suit in that sort of environment yet until I'm much more confident, especially since it's an interstate event and I have only ever been to Brisbane one time, and it's not even in Brisbane. So I wouldn't know where I would be going. I wouldn't know the hotel. I wouldn't know anyone. So I would just feel very in over my head. I am hoping one year I can do those events, but maybe when I'm a bit more experienced and a bit more comfortable in traveling and dealing with events that maybe kind of just assume people are going to know what to do. Because unfortunately, as a newbie to all this, I often am like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. But those are my upcoming events. As for 2026, I am probably going to try to do WAF again. I may try to do WAF Lite, if they're doing it again in 2026. This may just depend though on if I can get time off and if I can afford it. It's probably going to be an event that I'm more paying out of pocket to go and vend at, because WAF Light is a one-day event, or at least it was last year, so I would have to stay in WA, and I just don't think I would make the money to cover the cost of flights and a night stay in WAF from one day. But we'll see when time comes. I am going to apply to smaller markets and things, depending on how these Tasmanian and Queensland events go that I've applied to. Obviously, I will probably apply to them again next year. Unfortunately, this year I've kind of felt like I've bit off more than I can chew, and I do feel like I'm juggling a lot of things. I think part of that is due to the fact that I have been quite unwell. TLDR, I have had to get multiple cancer screenings this year. I have had to move house, obviously. Sorry, I'm looking after my landlord's dogs, and they have decided to come in and say hello. This is Audrey. There's another one of these little terriers underneath me whose name is Hamish. But obviously I've had to move, I've been sick, and I am still learning how to do these events, so I do feel like I have bitten off so much more than I could ever do. But I am surviving. I'm hoping that next year, since I'll have more experience and I'll kind of know what I'm doing a bit more, it'll be a little bit easier. And obviously, I know next time if I buy things from Wilcree that I have to buy them maybe a little bit sooner, because I'm going to have to assemble them. The little thing about that is WAF, as of filming, is in a month. I still have 5 commissions to do for WAF. I still have other products that I've got to print and finish off, and I have to assemble 60 plus keychains. So obviously next year I'm hoping that I know a bit more, and I'm kind of more prepared, and as such I'll be a bit more able to do more events. Now obviously being in my own place does mean that I can focus on some events and art and of course YouTube more. So I will be doing more wholesome furry videos. I am in the middle of making Mocha 2.0 as well, so I am looking at doing some videos wearing Mocha at some point and talking about fursuits, the furry fandom, and really just all things furry. So if you're interested in that sort of content, chuck us a follow, leave us a comment down below. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.